Hello, thanks for joining me on this journey. We're on Interstate 5 in Castaic, or Castaic, depending on how you pronounce it. Actually, I think there's a controversy over how that town's name is pronounced, even amongst the town people themselves. I'm going to call it Castaic. So we're just north of Los Angeles, heading north. We're about to traverse a rather significant portion of Interstate 5 through the Tehachapi Mtns. Construction on the original first automobile road through these mountains was started in 1910 and completed in 1915, and it was called the Ridge Route, or the Ridge Route. It had one lane in each direction, no shoulders, and the speed limit was a whopping 15 miles per hour. That's 24 kilometers per hour for those of you sensible people using the metric system. 15 miles per hour. It was the first automobile road connecting Southern California with the north, though, and because of that, some historians say that this road may have actually saved California from being split into two states. In those days, this journey took many hours, sometimes even multiple days, but today we'll only need about 40 minutes of driving time. This video isn't that long, of course, because I'm speeding things up drive-lapse style, so we'll zip through it even faster. And we'll even have some music to accompany us, unlike the first travelers on the original Ridge Route, because commercial car radios weren't yet available in those days. The first phase as we leave Castaic is a section called the 5-mile grade. Not a very imaginative name, but as it says, this is a 5-mile climb. And due to the length of that climb, it can sometimes be tedious or a problem for big trucks. And sometimes it may even seem like they're still going not much more than 15 miles an hour as we pass them. Anyway, let's start our journey by ascending the 5-mile grade. I'll be back a little bit later when we reach Violin Summit at the top of 5-mile grade.
To make you talk, and I got fire guns in my rearview mirror. I am hallelujah, I saw his name, I'm talking to the walls again. Sure I am. Look down, do it again. Well, will we be then? Close your eyes and count to 10.
We've now reached Violin Summit. This isn't the highest elevation we're going to reach, that's a little bit later. However, this is the top of 5-mile grade, that imaginatively named 5-mile grade. As I mentioned before, the original Ridge Route opened in 1915. In 1933, a straighter 3-lane road known as the alternate Ridge Route opened to the west. It had a middle lane for passing in either direction, sometimes called the suicide lane. That was later replaced by a 4-lane highway, U.S. Route 99. We're now on Interstate 5, which started replacing Route 99 in the 1960s. And the last section of Interstate 5 through the Tehachapi Mountains was completed right here in Violin Summit in 1970, not that long ago, actually.
I just about had enough of all your colonial bluffing. Hooray. I don't think of me but her instead, and I remember every word you ever said. Well, damn it, I should have known that you can never find your way home when your concerns are not your own. I'm out of here. Oh, you may be right. look so pretty in that gorgonzola dress. Oh my God. Amen. But have you ever heard the Dolce Vita sing? Let me take you around again. I wanna hold you accountable, explore the possibility, apply for higher order. Can you hear me? Wanna call you in the middle of the night and you're all wired up, dancing all those pretty things that I love changing.
I've got my eye on the highway. I've got my boat set to sail. I've got my feet in the water and it's cold. I've got my hammer on the nail. When I was a boy in New York City, I thought I'd ride the world with my thumb. The drinks would be cold, the girls pretty. I'd play a tune that everyone could hum. From debutantes to laborers and bums. I've got my eye on the highway. I've got my boat set to sail. I've got my feet in the water and it's cold. I've got my hammer on the nail. The freight trains, brickyards and gamblers. When I'm on the road, they're my guide. When I think of the miles that I've wandered and rambled, it makes me want to take another ride. With only my six-string at my side. I've got my eye on the highway. I've got my boat set to sail. I've got my feet in the water and it's cold. I've got my hammer on the nail. I've got my hammer on the nail.
We've reached Tejon Pass, which is the highest point of our journey. This is also the highest point on Interstate 5 within California, but it's not the highest point on Interstate 5 overall. You can read the history there of how Tejon Pass got its name. going to stop here at the rest stop and have a little picnic lunch. This rest stop is near the town of Lebec, or Lebec, depending on how you want to pronounce it. Another pronunciation controversy in this video. Anyway, you can read about Peter Lebec, however you say his name, while I'm having lunch, and then we'll continue on our journey. I would imagine that if you had told Peter Lebec back in 1837 that a town in California was going to be named after him, he would have thought you were crazy. I think he would have found it even more amazing to know that there would be a worldwide medium called YouTube, and that someone would be talking about him on that worldwide medium in the year 2019. I think he'd be totally flabbergasted by that.
Remember that you're not the only one I'm thinking of right now. The way your hands flash, the way you laugh out loud is overdone. Oh, come on, wake me up, work it out. See for yourself what Demetrius is laughing about. Having you sighing wind, I've been chasing down the Santa Grove at dawn, asking who'd have known it, who'd have saved you if I hadn't come around 3,000 miles and go on the wrong side. Oh, town.
Now, we're about to descend a notoriously steep stretch of Interstate 5 known as the Grapevine. The village of Grapevine is at the bottom of the grade. The village and the grade are named for wild grapes that used to grow along the original road, that ridge route that we've been talking about. Since we're heading north and we're going downhill and our brakes are good, we shouldn't have any problems. But obviously this steep grade can be a big issue for big trucks in both directions, ascending or descending. And sometimes in the winter, when there's bad weather, this grade is closed, which, as you can imagine, can cause big trouble with all the volume of traffic trying to use this road every day.
Don't matter how you repeat yourself, I'm not easily led. And anyway, yeah, everything you will ever say has already been said here in Mount.
We're passing by, on the left, an original section of the old ridge route from 1915 that you can still see. Of course, it's been completely bypassed now, but back in the old days, this was known as Dead Man's Curve, or the Death Curve, and was the best known curve on the old road. I've read accounts from truck drivers who used to travel on the old ridge route back in those days over the Grapevine, and they said that the cabs of the old trucks would sometimes get so hot that they'd stand outside on the running boards and steer through the window. I imagine this contributed to the accident rate on this curve.
Who'd have known it? Who'd have saved you?
You've successfully made it down the Grapevine. Welcome to the San Joaquin Valley, which is part of California's Central Valley, often just called the Valley. Now, the Valley is an important area, and I'm sure plenty of people like living there. Unfortunately, much of Interstate 5's traversal through the Valley is frankly rather long, flat, and not particularly interesting. So no offense to the people of the Valley, but I'll be ending this video soon. But first, let's get the closing credits out of the way. Thanks for joining me on this journey. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you'll join me on the next journey, wherever that may be. By the way, San Francisco and Sacramento are not just 1 mile apart from each other, just in case you didn't know.